Hello, friends. I hope you are having a wonderful week so far. It is summer. It is summer in full swing over here. It has been over 90 degrees most days for the last couple weeks. And so, with that warmer weather, I am getting the seasonal questions about wraps without shapers, wraps to wear in the summer. And so I will note that I have a playlist of shaperless wraps on my channel. I'm also going to link it in the description box below, but I thought that it would be a good time to update with a few more looks that I have for you. So I have been finding some really wonderful inspiration on Instagram these days. There is a French woman that I follow. Her handle translates to, I believe, the new turbanistas. I'm not going to try and say it in French. I do not speak French. It would be horrendous for us all, but I will link her below. And I highly, highly recommend that if you are a person who prefers not to wear shapers, that she is absolutely somebody that you should follow. So my favorite type of scarf for these wraps is something like one of these lightweight, scarves. A lot of times they come with tassels. This is the girl's best friend scarf from Rapunzel. Unfortunately, I don't own any of this type of scarf that are currently in stock on the website. I have, like, in my range of vision one that is coming, but unfortunately I cannot talk about it quite yet. So I'm going to be trying these today. This is a constellation scarf, and I think that this is available still in many, many colors. And I think that this is going to work just beautifully. Lightweight, but just a little bit of structure to it. I think that is kind of the optimal combination. So I am going to start, and on my head, so this is a Rapunzel signature shaper, but I have taken all of the stuffing out. So effectively, it is just keeping my hair in place and providing a velvet headband. I'm wearing this instead of a velvet headband because this way I don't have to worry so much about turning my head and having you see my hair. But yeah, that's all that this is. All of these wraps can be done, are meant to be done without a shaper. So yeah, all right. So I'm going to start by putting this down on my head nice and evenly. And so I'm going to pull it to the front here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow that to rest, and I'm going to take both my sides and bring them up. So this is the most critical part of making a turban, is managing all of this that happens. So a lot of times you'll see stuff pop out here. Take your hand, pull it in, tuck, 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 and tuck some more. Just fold it under, fold it in until you are getting a nice smooth shape. And now in the front here, I am going to tie it in a knot, just like so. Now, this front edge, I'm going to fan out a little bit, and then I'm going to flip it backwards, but then we're going to do a little crisscross maneuver here. So this is going to flip back, and then my scarves are going to cross one over the other. So I'm going to take this opportunity to fluff this out as much as I would like. And again, you can start small, make it bigger if that's what you want. And once I am happy with the volume and the shape, I'm going to start bringing this back down and around. And this is also a good time. You can spread this out if you have any other puckering that's happening over here. You can use this to cover it up. Now, once I get to the back, a couple options. So we can just tie in a knot like so, and then this is small enough that I am just going to tuck it underneath. But if you have a larger tail, one, you could always leave it out. this is a perfectly adorable little look. Or bring it up, find your pocket, and tuck. Just tuck that away, tuck it underneath. And that is going to be the entire look. And then just go back in, adjust this to your liking. It's meant to be a little bit off to the center. You could do it more centered if you wanted to, but I like the asymmetrical. So that is our shaperless turban look number 1, here from the front, from the side, back, and the other side. So depending on the shape of your head and depending on the length of your scarf and the width of it, I find wide scarves also tend to wrap longer. You are going to have to do a different amount of management with the scarf ends, but I think this is absolutely adorable. So that is the first turban look. I will also put in a plug again in the description box for, I have an entire video on tips and tricks for wrapping without a shaper, and one of those tips and tricks, excuse me, I have like a stray hair. One of those tips and tricks is to focus on turban wraps, because quite frequently they are a really, really good option. So I am not even gonna bother rewrapping before I go into my second look. So this time, instead of tying a knot, I'm just gonna cross once, cross twice, and then we are going to bring these down. And once again, take the time, spread out these edges to cover up anything that ought to be covered. And then similarly, once we get to the back, give it a little tie, and then tuck in your spare edges. Yeah, I think this scarf might be a little bit larger than I would typically want to do this with. Something that's like a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower, at least if you have a small head, is going to be more manageable. But that's okay. We will make it work. Not a big deal. Just keep tucking. So I'm running into like a little bit of awkwardness here because my scarf is ending right about where this knot is, and that is where I have the least amount of room to tuck it. So I'm gonna start pulling on the knot to make that room. And we can make it work. That works fine. All right, here from the front, from the side, from the back, and the other side. But it was a little bit awkward for me. And so what I'm gonna show you is essentially a way to get this look, but to shorten up the scarf a little bit. And this is gonna be just kind of a faux turban look. So this time, instead of bringing my ends up, I'm just gonna go ahead and tie them in the back. And you'll notice that I have deliberately placed the scarf pretty far back, because what I want, I might even stick it behind my ears for this, because what I want is now I'm gonna bring these ends up as though I were starting the turban from the very beginning. And so I don't want this peeking out underneath. So here we go. Bring them up. And now I am going to cover my ears, cross it over once, cross it over twice, and bring them back down. And you will see I have much, much less to work with. So I'm just gonna take my shorter And here, tuck that underneath so that it is not popping out. There we go. And then this little itty bit can get tucked in, and this can get tucked in as well. And this is a much better length for me for the size of my head and the size of my scarf. But it gives effectively the same look as the wrap that I just showed you, which is a true turban. So here it is from the front, from the side, back, and the other side. And really most turban looks, you could start this way and get kind of a faux turban look. And I would encourage you to play around with doing one way versus the other with whatever scarf you're wrapping with to see if either of them works a little bit better for you. So one final look that I am going to show, which is going to be another top knot look. So just gonna go here, and now I'm going to tie one knot like so, and another knot, and there we go. Get that knot sitting the way that I would like it to, and then I'm gonna fluff up both loops of the knot, and then these are going to come down and around and tuck in. And anytime that you've got kind of short ends like this, just make sure, just fold those all the way in, hide them underneath the longest part of the scarf, and it'll cover up absolutely beautifully. All right, couple final floofs up here, and that is our final turban look. So here from the front, from the side, from the back, and the other side. So I really hope that you enjoyed these quick, shaperless turban style wraps for the summer. I know I certainly get a lot of use out of them this time of year to stay cool, both in terms of not having a shaper and also just in terms of not having anything, any fabric hanging down on my neck. So I hope you enjoyed those. Let me know how it goes. If you have any other questions about wrapping without a shaper that weren't answered either here or in my previous video. And yeah, that's a wrap for me. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.